We all want to see that dream fight, Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. The hype is real, the tension is real, and fans have been craving this super fight for a long time. But ever since Islam moved up to the welterweight division, it's felt like that dream is slowly slipping away. Still, that fight might be closer than we think. Right now, there are a few situations that could make that fight happen sooner rather than later. Here's the first one. Ilia Topuria is not allowed to move up to 170 pounds to chase Islam. That's not just a rumor. Ilia himself said that Dana White told him directly, no moving up to welterweight, not now anyway. So that door is closed for the moment. That means if this fight is ever going to happen, the only option is for Islam to drop back down to lightweight. But here's the thing, Islam doesn't seem interested in doing that. He's made it very clear that he wants to stay at welterweight. He's focused on defending his new belt there, not looking back. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Islam is set to fight Jack Della Maddalena, and if Islam loses that fight, there's a strong possibility that he comes back down to lightweight. And if that happens, boom, we've got a clear path for Islam versus Ilia. Imagine that Islam returns to lightweight and Ilia's waiting for him. That becomes the biggest, most logical, most epic fight in the division. The fans would absolutely lose it. That match would blow the roof off the MMA world. So Islam's upcoming fight with Jack Della, it's more important than people think. While many fans are already writing Jack off, someone like Kamaru Usman thinks differently. He actually believes Jack has a real shot at beating Islam. On the other hand, Daniel Cormier had a totally different take. In a recent podcast, he actually argued with Kamaru about it. Cormier said Islam's grappling is just on another level. He believes Jack won't even be able to understand how dominant Islam's wrestling is.
He'll get takedown attempts coming at him very early. This time. The last fight, he didn't have to deal with that when he was fresh. If Islam can start to pressure him early and take him down early, or even just make him wrestle, he might struggle. We've seen before him get taken down, but I don't know that he's ever felt anything like he's going to feel, because it's not going to be double legs and single legs with Islam. It's going to be him playing with his feet, tripping him, moving around on the octagon side, doing things that he don't recognize as freely. What makes a person really good in wrestling in mixed martial arts? If I shoot a double leg, there's a very good chance they're going to defend. But if I shoot a single, boom, put you to the fence, I grab a single, then I will pull you off the fence, and then I run you back to the fence with a double. Now the guys start reaching and grabbing stuff, then they start doing that weird stuff like coming over your head, almost giving their back. They start doing weird stuff because they don't understand wrestling in that second level, in the third level. They keep doing all those things to give them way too much information.
Meanwhile, there's a whole other fire burning between Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett. Paddy didn't hold anything back recently. He appeared on a podcast with Brian Ortega and opened up about his real feelings toward Ilia. He said it straight. He still hates Ilia Topuria, and no matter what happens in the future, he's not going to stop hating him. Even if they fight, even if Paddy wins, he said the beef won't be over. He'll still feel the same way. So, what's behind all this hate? According to Paddy, it all goes back to that time he made controversial comments about Russia and Georgia. After those remarks, Georgian fans and fighters were furious. Paddy says he tried to explain what he meant, that people twisted his words, took them out of context. He swears he never meant to disrespect Georgians or make light of their tragedy, but here's where the tension really builds. Paddy believes Ilia knows what he meant. He thinks Ilia is just using this to paint him as a villain. That's what eats at him. He feels like Ilia is intentionally keeping the drama alive just to look like the good guy. But then again, let's be honest, Paddy did say that Bourjas terrorized Georgia, and depending on how you interpret that, it's not a light statement. That comment alone could stir a lot of emotion and anger. So it's not like Ilia's just making things up. And Ilia, he hasn't cooled off one bit. In a recent TMZ Sports interview, Ilia didn't hold back. He threw some serious shade at Paddy. He said he's going to do whatever he wants with him in the cage, and he even called Paddy one of the easiest matchups in the 155-pound division.
What is going on with Paddy?
So with Paddy, all the fans around the world, I think that they want to see that fight. And at the same time, I have to be honest, I think it's one of the easiest fights that I could have in the lightweight division. I don't know, I can do with him whatever I want to do in reality. It's very excited fight for the fans.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna enjoy a lot the whole process, and at the same time, it's a fight where I'm going to be able to shine once again.
How would you win? When would you win? Give us some of that Ilia prediction magic.
I have to think about it. I promise you, I could like choose the way I want to finish.
First round?
Be like, that's for sure. He's not going to stay there for more than one round with me. I don't know, maybe it's going to be cool to submit him in the ground, something like that. Like, as I told him, put my in his forehead.
Now here's where the story takes an even wilder turn. Earlier this week, Russian MMA journalist Usha Taika sat down with a fighter named Rizvan. He's a rising talent who trains at American Top Team, one of the most respected MMA gyms in the entire country. Now, a few months ago, Ilia Topuria also spent some time training there. He's been to ATT several times over his career. In fact, just before he vacated his featherweight title, he was training at that very gym. Naturally, the conversation during the interview shifted to those training sessions. That's when Rizvan dropped a bomb. At first, he hesitated. He didn't want to say too much, but with a little pushing, he finally opened up. He said he saw something intense go down at the gym, something wild. He said his close friend, Shavkhal Chimaev, a Dagestani fighter and known training partner of Islam Makhachev, was at the gym too. And when Ilia showed up, Shavkhal wasn't just there to train, he was there looking for drama. Rizvan didn't name names directly, he tried to be vague, but the way he described it, it couldn't have been anyone else but Ilia. He said, "I don't want to mention the fighter's name, but a UFC champion came to our gym for a few practices. He's still the champ." Actually, this was a couple months ago. Shavkat, being a lightweight, was looking for other lightweights to spar with, but this other guy, he was the featherweight champ. He wasn't in camp, so he was big. He trained with us for weeks and looked amazing. His power, his technique, it was unreal. I remember Shavkhal had his eye on him from day one. He wanted to spar with him badly. Then they finally did, and it wasn't some light training session. It was intense, it was raw, it was a real brawl. They went at it hard for a couple of minutes, and according to Rizvan, it was wild to witness. A serious fight in the middle of a training gym. Now here's the kicker. Ilia Topuria is the only featherweight champ to have trained at ATT. That basically confirms who Rizvan was talking about. It all makes sense. There's been this back and forth tension brewing between Islam and Ilia all year, so it's not surprising that Islam's close friend would come in ready to test Ilia, maybe even provoke something. And based on what Rizvan said, that's exactly what happened. Meanwhile, over in another part of the MMA world, Khamzat Chimaev is getting ready for UFC 319. He's been tearing through opponents lately, but former UFC champion TJ Dillashaw? He's not buying the hype. On a recent episode of the Jackson podcast, TJ talked about what Khamzat really needs to do if he wants to beat Dricus du Plessis. While a lot of people think Khamzat will win easily and walk out of Chicago with the belt, TJ sees it differently. He said Khamzat needs to break in camp. Not like an injury, he means mentally and physically pushing himself to the limit. He needs to go so hard in training that his cardio and toughness reach a whole new level. TJ explained that it's about fighting at the edge, where your heart rate is maxed out, your muscles are screaming, and everything inside you wants to quit. That's what it takes to win a war like this. He said Khamzat can't just grind his way through. He needs training partners who will push him past the breaking point over and over again. That's how you prepare for someone like Dricus. Otherwise, Dillashaw says du Plessis will gas him out in the later rounds and take over. That's a serious warning from someone who knows what it takes to win championships. If Khamzat's camp isn't brutal enough, this fight might slip right through his fingers. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button for more daily MMA news. We've got plenty more coming your way. Stay tuned.